If you're thinking of moving to Portland, Oregon, you might want to check out Wilsonville. In this video, we're going to get into the pros and cons of what it's like living here. The purpose of us doing these videos is to give you guys on the streets feel for what it would be like to live here. All right, should we get into it?
Let's go.
Let's go.
So Wilsonville is actually pretty unique in terms of Portland areas. It has a completely different feeling from a lot of the other areas of Portland. There are a handful of really popular suburbs in the Portland metro, and I would say Wilsonville definitely has the newest, freshest feeling.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, we're walking right here. This was one of the Street of Dreams street. This whole row of houses all right here behind me. I mean, these houses are amazing. They are $1 million plus houses. We came through here when they did that a few years ago, and this was the first street in this little development called Frog Ponds.
Yeah, just to give you some context, we came and visited these homes brand new 3 years ago for the Street of Dreams. And if you're not a Portland local, Street of Dreams is a really cool annual event where they bring together some of the best builders, designers, architects, home material supply companies in the state to build a street of dream homes. And then every summer, the public gets to come and tour those homes before anyone buys them or moves in. And so we got to come walk through some of these homes, get some really cool design ideas. It's a beautiful area, and everything else in this neighborhood that we're gonna walk through is even newer than 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, this area is really, really cool. It's a really big area, this Frog Ponds. So they've developed about 4,000 new homes in this area. They're still building in here. We'll show you some of the footage. This area is still under construction. So if you're looking for that new build, definitely give me a shout, because this is one you should definitely look into. Here's the first pro of Wilsonville. I mean, look around us. I mean, this neighborhood is amazing, but that gets us right into your surroundings, the nature, what it's like living here, the environment. It's gorgeous here. I mean, and today it's like 72 degrees right now. It's beautiful. Today's the first day of summer. And I mean, this area of Wilsonville is really, really beautiful area. You're basically right in the middle of what used to be farmland, and you've got wine country, you've got breweries, you've got a lot of new development here. So everything has a new, fresh feeling to it. There's not a lot that's really run down. And if you're into hiking, outdoors, nature, you like that quieter, slower pace of life, then Wilsonville can definitely be for you. I think that ranks right up there as the #1 pro for Wilsonville, is just that more laid back, beautiful scenery.
I agree 100%. I think this area of rolling farmlands, you know, as you're driving down some of the main roads out here, you're gonna see old barns and horse farms, vineyards. That scenic beauty is just amazing. A few weeks ago, I was out here picking up a gift for one of our clients at a really cool little cooking class farm where they do farm to table dinners. You can take a cooking class there. They have wine nights, wine events, education, right out in that rolling farmland. And as I was driving through there along some of the ridges, the hills, it reminded me of being, like, we used to live in Topanga Canyon in Los Angeles, and it really reminded me of some of those areas out in Malibu and Topanga where, you know, it's very scenic. You get long vistas, you get big homes set aside with lots of land around them, and it just has a very special feeling.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, that all of that, you said it way more eloquently than I did.
I'm obsessed. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. Also, you know, this is where we bring our kids to go to the pumpkin patch, to get a Christmas tree. All of those things are out here because there's just more space.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of falls right into our #2 pro, which is activities, things to do. There's a lot of activities throughout the year, like the pumpkin patch, you know, getting your Christmas tree, going berry picking. all those kinds of things are out here, and they have all kinds of outdoor activities for families, or if you're single, pretty much for everybody. They've got something for you out here.
Right, the river runs throughout here, so you've got the parks and, bordering the river.
So all those water activities, skiing, fishing. Okay, so let's get into our first con of living in Wilsonville.
I would say distance to Portland. So if you're working downtown or you're working somewhere else in the city, Wilsonville is really on the very south end. It's probably the southernmost suburb, southwestern. And so you are, further out from Portland. If you're working there, you're wanting to spend a lot of time in the city on the weekends, you might want to be a little closer.
Yeah, you're gonna be about a 30-minute drive to downtown without rush hour. With rush hour, you could get up to 45 minutes, just really depending on traffic. You got the I-5 that's just right here that kind of splits Wilsonville, and you've got a lot of new building over on the west side of the 5, but it's great because you have the 5 right there, which just shoots you right up to downtown. So it is very convenient.
It's all relative, right?
So it is very
here in Portland, this is pretty far out. But if you're coming from, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, or a city with really long commutes, really spread out, this is not going to feel that far out to you.
Yeah, and you can see one of the new builds here right behind us. And the homes in this area you're looking at $1 million up in this part of the neighborhood in Frog Ponds. But other parts, you can get kind of starting out at around high 6s, 700s for some of these homes.
And I would say that's definitely a pro of Wilsonville, is the value for your money. So to get one of these brand new construction homes, and not just new construction, but really high quality materials, high value in this beautiful area, is definitely a pro. If you compare the prices here to areas closer in, Lake Oswego, West Lynn, some of the more established suburbs, you're definitely going to see higher prices in those areas.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is a great option if you want a new build home or newer within the last few years. They've been building a lot of homes here in the last few years. So if you want that new build, nice and clean, or within 3 years of being brand new, this is a great option. In Wilsonville, for new builds, you're looking at starting out at around the 600,000s, higher 600s for a detached home. They're going to have a smaller backyard though, and then you can also get into a brand new townhome as well for the 500s. So if that's something that might fit in your budget, go ahead and reach out, give me a call, and I can get some more information to you about that.
Now, depending on your style, the newness of the community can be a pro or a con, because I think out here it does feel quite suburban, and it has all of the new stores, the Target that we go to, the Costco, those are out here in Wilsonville, brand new shopping centers, but it doesn't have the same kind of charm or old town feeling that you're going to get in a lot of the Portland neighborhoods. And I think when you're in a newer area, they might not have found their footing in terms of like great dining and coffee options, things like that. Walkability, this isn't the area for that as much. Okay. There certainly are options for stuff like that, but it's different than in an older, more established neighborhood. Now, my family's from the Midwest, so looking around at a brand new subdivision like this feels like home to me. There's a very wholesome, safe, family-friendly vibe to it.
And that brings us to another pro, which is public schools. The schools here are amazing. They're in the top 3 of the state. This is the Wilsonville West Lynn School District. So it shares the same school district as West Lynn.
Yeah, this area is obviously very family-friendly. People move here for those amazing schools and for this safe, family-friendly environment. This is just one of many subdivisions. Some are very big, where it creates a real community feeling in that subdivision. And If you've been watching the news at all in the last few years, Portland has taken some hits, especially in the downtown area. Our families call us and say, what's it really like in Portland? What's going on downtown? I would say out here in Wilsonville, there is no sign of any of the unrest that was happening in downtown Portland. There's no sign of anything gone amiss. It's pristine out here. It's beautiful, it's clean, it's fresh, it's safe. So, if that's your style, this is a great area to check out. I think the best way to find that out if you aren't from here is to schedule a visit and, call Aaron. He'll take you around to some of the areas in Wilsonville and you can really get a good sense of if this is the right neighborhood for you, the right community.
If you've never been to Portland or any of these areas, I highly suggest give me a shout. We can set up a Zoom. We can go over some of the neighborhoods and then fly out here and check out some of these areas. Portland's an awesome city to come visit, for a weekend or a long weekend, and we can set up a couple times to go around and check out some of these neighborhoods and see if something might be a good fit for you. Our next pro is crime. Very, very low crime here. Wilsonville is graded as a very safe city. It's all public data. You can go online and look it up. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I would just add, a subdivision like this, I can see imagine kids riding their bikes out here. It's very quiet, it's very calm. I think when you think about overall lifestyle, it just feels like an easy lifestyle.
Yeah. One of the other pros, these neighborhoods are very kid-friendly. We're walking on a sidewalk right now. All these neighborhoods have sidewalks. So if that's important to you, Wilsonville's is set up like that, very suburban in that sense.
They all have a little playground. We drove by one over here as we were pulling in. So they all have the communal areas, a playground, people walking dogs, just very comfortable, easy living.
Yeah, and especially the new areas that have been built in the last 5 years, a lot of them are gonna have community pools and clubhouses. So you get those extra amenities. They'll usually have a HOA to help take care of those amenities.
So one con that just cannot be avoided, you wouldn't know it by today with this beautiful blue sky, but it does rain here in the Pacific Northwest. So we're just hitting June. This is the best time of year now through October. It's so beautiful. It's green. Everything's in bloom.
Yeah,
but the way we get that beautiful summer is that it does rain a lot from November through May.
And Wilsonville's no exception. We're all in the Willamette Valley, the whole Portland metro. So if it's raining somewhere, it's probably raining here too.
So you got to be prepared for a wet, rainy, somewhat gray winter if you're thinking of moving to the Pacific Northwest. I think, it's key to think about planning a sunny vacation somewhere, say February timeframe. People head to Hawaii or Palm Springs or San Diego. Just you need some sunshine at some point in the winter.
Yes, definitely highly recommend that. If you are capable of doing that. We haven't been able to do that the last couple of years because we have 2 little kids and we just haven't been wanting to get into that.
There was this pandemic going on.
Yeah, that pandemic thing. So traveling wasn't big for us in the last couple of years, but hopefully soon, right?
And that takes me to the next pro, maybe our last pro, which is that you are close to some of the most beautiful coastline in the world. So the Oregon coast, about 90 minutes west of here, is absolutely beautiful. We're actually heading there tomorrow to celebrate the end of the school year. And everything that you have close by here in Wilsonville, the coast, the mountains, Mount Hood, skiing, the river, there's just a lot of natural beauty and day trip getaways. There's also Bend, Oregon, with a couple of resorts that people love to visit for summertime, spring break, Sun River, Black Butte. That's about a 3-hour drive, but there's a lot right here in Oregon to visit.
Well said. And I love the outdoors. I love spending time outside. That's one of the big reasons we moved to Portland, Oregon, is to have all these outdoor amenities just so close by. Like you said, an hour and a half, you can really be to anything from, mountains, water, parks, beaches. I mean, it's really, truly amazing to world-class vineyards, amazing craft beers. In fact, we're gonna go get some lunch here right after this.
A couple of wineries right here in the area on the border of Westland and Wilsonville. I would say these wineries are in actually Westland, but Pete's Mountain, Tumwater, beautiful wineries, great wine, fun to go for dinner or for an afternoon of wine tasting. So I would say the vineyards out here in Wilsonville are, small, family run and owned, casual, rustic. It's not like a fancy hoity-toity wine tasting experience.
Yeah,
it's more of an easygoing.
Yeah, and we've taken the kids before. We do little tastings. And what's that town?
Aurora.
Aurora is just south of here, which is really close by to Wilsonville. And it's a really cool old little town.
Little
antiques.
antiquing town. We went because I was looking for some things for the house.
Yeah, and they have little tasting rooms along there and antique shops, and that's just like a fun little town. There's multiple little towns like that near Wilsonville, so you'll have a lot more closer access. So if you like those kind of things as well, Wilsonville could be a great fit for you.
Yeah.
If you prefer doing those kinds of things versus city living.
All in all, I mean, we live in Lake Oswego. I love Lake Oswego. Our house is old, it needs some updating. We're walking around looking at these like gorgeous new builds on this, safe, lovely street, and I think, it's pretty good living out here in Wilsonville.
Yep. Yeah, there's not a lot of trees in these newer neighborhoods as well, versus say like where we live in Lake Oswego,
So
it's a lot more treed.
of sunshine.
Yeah, so you got a lot more sunshine. Parts of Lake Oswego can feel a little
Shady.
Not
that kind of shady, but leafy shady.
Yeah. If you want more of this
big
sky, open living, this could also be a great fit for you.
If you have any questions, please reach out. Again, Aaron would love to take you on a tour of some houses out here and see what might be a good fit for you. There's these new construction homes in a great tight-knit subdivision. There are also areas where you can get an acre of land with those views of the rolling vineyards, rolling farmland. So give us a call.
And just to recap, whatever your budget, there's something for you in Wilsonville. So give me a call, reach out. My information's right down there in the description. Book a Zoom on my Calendly link, and I'd be happy to talk to you about Wilsonville. All right, see you on the next one.